In the sports industry, males dominate, but the women of Helmets and Heels break barriers by being one of not many radio shows made up of only women. It wasn't easy for them to make it, but they did. Here's Kara Johnson with the story.
As you know, the NFL's just teeming with stuff to talk about, exactly. And then, of course, Studs and Duds at Peterbrook Chocolate Heel as well.
Sounds like a lot of fun. The show is Helmets and Heels, and it starts now.
Two of the show's hosts are Jordan Diarman and Laura Brooks. Jordan has been in the business for 5 years, and Laura's leaving her 9-to-5 job as a marketing director and making her love for talk radio into a full-time job. Along their journey, they have had to be very confident and sure of themselves because as women, sometimes they have to work extra hard just to get an edge up.
I mean, it's definitely taken a while to get to this position. I guess in the time of, like 4 years, 3 years graduating college, it's been a bumpy road. It's been tough. I can definitely say that getting into the industry is the hardest part about sustaining this injury, is getting that first job. And the first job you get normally isn't going to be the job that you want. It's challenging. I feel like as a woman you have to work twice as hard just to earn the respect of not only your coworkers but also the people who you're talking to. Because the reality is a woman can make a mistake and it's going to be way more rememberable than a man because we're not naturally made for this position. So I think in that aspect you have to work hard, but also know that you're just as equal. If you do the hard work and you come in ready to go and prepared for every show, it's not going to be even that uneasy. So I think that's the biggest difference. But for a woman, I'm proud, because the industry's changing. You see more and more women getting involved and they're taken seriously, and so that's what I like seeing, is the change.
The ladies of Helmets and Heels represent women everywhere who love sports and are bold enough to talk about things that happen in this male-dominated industry. The fact that there aren't many women talking about sports makes them part of something special, and they take pride in that. The sky's the limit for these women, and they take advantage of any opportunities that come their way.
We've been very lucky to have hosts that have been on our show and then have actually gone on to do bigger and better things. So one of the original hosts now covers the Miami Marlins and the Florida Panthers. And then recently, another one of the hosts left for New York City, and she is covering the New York Rangers. So the show is kind of really developing talent as we go along.
As they develop talent, they entertain numerous people at the same time.
Waking up Jacksonville for over a decade, the JOU Morning Show on 1010XL has a unique brand that is one of a kind. Off Southside Boulevard from 6 to 10 a.m. is where you can find our reporter Ryan Hennessy with the story on this Jacksonville morning radio show.
Waking up early isn't easy, especially when you have to go to work or school. UNF student Thomas Rodriguez looks forward to waking up every morning because of The Drill, Jacksonville's morning sports radio show from 6 to 10 a.m., hosted by Jeff Prosser and Dan Hicken.
This is Jeff Prosser, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Every morning I wake up, love The Drill, Jeff and Dan, my two favorite announcers on radio. Jeff screaming all the time.
Thousands of people in Jacksonville wake up in houses like this, make a cup of coffee, and drive to work. For those early rising sports fans like Thomas, your early morning commute doesn't have to be that bad. 1010XL and 92.5 FM's The Drill morning show can help make your morning a little bit more exciting.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Hicken from 1010XL.
They had some jump yards in the fourth quarter. People are in something. I mean, like between 20 and 30, or is there more than that? Or
Veterans at morning radio, Jeff and Dan side by side wake up Jacksonville every morning with not just sports, but with their competitive spirit too.
You have to be more than just a sports show. I think you have to be a Jacksonville morning show.
It's a monsoon! Virginia, take it with...
Well, we've been doing the show here at 1010XL for 10 years. We have been doing radio together for, since before Jacksonville hosted the Super Bowl, probably 15 years.
Way too long. Much, way too long. I need a break.
Everyone, walk, you lazy bastards!
Yes, they did.
Yeah. And he could eat those...
Debating each other every morning, they both make it a point to win every discussion.
I've won every debate. Now, some of our audience members aren't quite savvy enough to judge them correctly. But yeah, if we've 10 years and, 200 a year, that's what, 20, that's 2,000. Yeah, I'm about 1990 and 10.
I'm definitely the leader. If you added up the ETN, and in fact, I didn't want to say this, but I actually do know this. I've had beef and balls, tracked them through the years. I win 63% to 37%.
Tonight we present a special story of the evolution of women in the media, featuring radio talk show host Melissa Ross of First Coast Connect. Here's reporter Joy Kadir with the details.
The media industry, much like most fields in the past decades, was a highly male-dominated area. Through years of change and progression, women have emerged in the news business, covering crucial topics of interest. Melissa Ross, producer and host of First Coast Connect, offers her perspective about the evolution of female journalists in the media industry.
I think that just the lived experience of being a woman is different, of course. And you bring your lived experiences to whatever job you do. And that might give you a different perspective on certain issues. It doesn't mean that it's right or wrong, it's just different. And I think in any newsroom you need a diversity of perspectives to give the most thorough, even-handed coverage of whatever the issue is.
When women were introduced to the news industry, they were often assigned soft lead stories that covered events, human or health interest stories. Men, however, covered hard lead stories with politics and government news. Women were often seen working alone or hired for secretary jobs that included filing and paperwork.
When you look at the national picture, there are still far fewer women and people of color, say, on the Sunday talk shows, or far fewer people on air, and particularly in senior management positions that are women and people of color. So yeah, we still have a problem with that.
Ross explains that there is always a backlash when a minority group takes a step forward. She says that this is seen in this type of situation with women too.
I would say we've been making incremental progress for a long time. But are we where we need to be? No.
Melissa Ross is an inspiration to many women, journalists, and even everyday people she reaches out to through her radio talk show. Her strong work ethic and demeanor helps her and her colleagues produce the best news to give out to the community.
And we create video packages, video stories for the show, and it's a live studio audience, so it's all hands on deck, and we kind of all work together on that.
Whether it's radio, broadcast, or print, women have been making moves to cover important stories and share their perspective. From the Oprah Winfrey Show to Ross's local radio show, the community thrives on what each host brings to the table.
I hope that I'm fulfilling WJCT's mission of connecting the community and informing the community. That, more than anything, I think is what I am here to do.
This is multimedia storytelling reporter Joy Cater signing off from UNF.